So I've just watched Andrew Neil absolutely destroy the Americans' favourite conservative commentator, Ben Shapiro, with facts and logic. And it was actually embarrassing how badly Ben Shapiro did in this interview. And Andrew Neil is a well-known right-winger in the UK, right? So he's deeply in bed with like Rupert Murdoch. He used to be like editor of the Mail and shit like that. He's been around, and you know, if you're left-wing or anything, you really don't like Andrew Neil. But this interview made me, want to cheer him on. Ben Shapiro just looked like such a complete idiot. And it's funny for someone who talks about all this stuff all the time about like being accountable and about all his conservative beliefs, just be absolutely destroyed and come across like such a whiny little bitch when he actually gets challenged on what he says. So I just wrote a few notes about what the interview was about. So for those of you who don't know, BBC is really harsh on copyright, so I can't actually play any of the interview in this video because it would just get banned worldwide. So this is more like my live reaction to it. And I've actually never watched Ben Shapiro for a significant amount of time because I've never really been bothered with him. But listen to him talk. He just lives in some insane reality. He thinks the American news media, he started off the interview with Andrew Neil saying, the American news media pursues a radical leftist agenda. What planet does he live on that corporate news media in America, owned by right-wing billionaires and millionaires, is somehow pushing a radical leftist agenda? Is he insane? And he probably is. And I don't know, if he's doing this for shock value or just to appease people who like him, but he's seriously crazy. Even the more liberal news outlets like CNN or MSNBC constantly hire people who work for Trump, who are Trump supporters, everything like that. They are in no means liberal. They barely even talk about things like climate change. So he started off the interview really bad. And then Andrew Neil said, aren't the left the ones who are pushing actual policies? The Green New Deal, $15 minimum wage and stuff. And Ben Shapiro was saying, oh yeah, but in the conservative movement, we have such great debates. We debate the benefits of nationalism versus populism, because that's so great. Thanks for debating the benefits of fascism versus some populist movement. Really, really great. And then Andrew Neil challenged him on the abortion laws, and this was pretty great, saying it was barbaric. And Ben Shapiro got super offended by him challenging him on this, saying like, oh, why do you call this barbaric? Why are you saying this takes us back to the dark ages? But Andrew Neil was saying, women going to prison for having an abortion, isn't that like barbaric? And, most people would agree, that's insane, isn't it? Women getting an abortion shouldn't be put in prison. Ben Shapiro got all, touchy, saying, to Andrew Neil, isn't the BBC meant to be impartial? Are you an opinion journalist and everything? And then the worst bit of the interview was Ben Shapiro told Andrew Neil to admit he was a part of the left, and then saying, why don't you just admit it? And then Andrew Neil then went on to say, if you knew anything about me, you'd know how ridiculous that sounds. And then Ben Shapiro went on to say, from everything you say, I know what you are. And then he had to write a tweet before the interview came out just saying like, oh, I didn't know who Andrew Neil was. And then in his own paper, is it the Daily Wire or something, Ben Shapiro's own organisation has praised Andrew Neil on multiple times for destroying leftists and stuff. And it is so hilarious. He thought Andrew Neil, at least do some basic research. I'm going on BBC tomorrow. I'm going to get an interview of this guy. Let me just type him in. And then he got so arrogant saying, do you know who I am? Do I know who you am? I don't know who you are. Well, it would have helped if you knew who Andrew Neil was, Ben Shapiro, because you probably find out you agree on a lot of things. But then he just made you look like such a fraud. Some super right-wing guy in the UK makes you look like a complete idiot and a complete child and someone who's super emotional. We talk about, conservatives have to talk about women being super emotional, Hillary Clinton and stuff like that. Ben Shapiro was so emotional. He looked like some privileged kid. He's like, do you know who I am? Do you know who my father is? That is exactly the vibe I got of him. And I don't know how people take him seriously, like Joe Rogan. Oh, Ben Shapiro is the most misunderstood person in America. No, he's a fucking alt-right fraud, and he just pushes all this complete bullshit. But then it got even better because Andrew Neil had so much background on Ben Shapiro from his past, and he kept challenging him on it. So he was saying to Ben Shapiro, your book is about bringing back civility to America and public discourse. So why did you say Obama's State of the Union in 2012 was basically like a fascist speech? And why did you say Jews who vote for Obama aren't real Jews? And then he challenged him on this so hard. And it was so funny to see Ben Shapiro squirm saying, oh, what I actually meant was that if you're a Jew, who's not religious, maybe you'll vote for Obama because he's pushing like the Iran deal. And if you're a real Jew, you'd hate the Iran deal because, of course, for some reason, if you're a Jew, you must have loyalty to Israel because that's why you would care about Iran so much. That it was just a weird talking point anyway. But then the best one was, everyone knows about Ben Shapiro's infamous, tweet about Arabs saying, Arabs love to, live in open sewage and stuff like that. And then he was trying to backtrack on it and he's saying, oh yeah, I didn't mean it. And then Andrew Neil had the follow-through tweets which Ben Shapiro said he actually meant Palestinians. And then Andrew Neil was like, so you just think Palestinians love to live in open sewage and stuff? Oh my God, it was so good that someone actually challenges him. And what is even more funny, because if this was a leftist or whatever challenging Ben Shapiro, you know what people would be like, they're like, leftist hit job, BBC is infiltrated by leftists. But then you have someone who's like personal friends with Rupert Murdoch, the old editor of the Sunday Times. He was editor of the Sunday Times, not the Mail. He's a contributor to the Mail, and also, you know, runs a Spectator and things like that. You know, thinking he is a leftist, and then you're capitulating so bad. Ben Shapiro then had to leave the interview. He cut it short because he couldn't handle, you know, basic questions. All Andrew Neil was doing is like, you say this, then how come you said this before? And that's all Andrew Neil was doing, and Ben Shapiro couldn't handle it. He thought it was some sort of hit job, because in America, we know what right-wing media is like. They, you know, treat Ben Shapiro with soft gloves, you know, lay him up for easy talking points about how he would destroy transgender people, feminists and stuff. But then when you actually have someone, you know, for as much as I don't like him, he is a proper journalist, actually challenging Ben Shapiro just proves what a fraud he is. And I hope this makes Americans, you know, see how crap your media is, because even though I have massive problems with the BBC, at least they're doing a basic job at challenging someone's views when they make such extreme and bold claims, and at least he has done his research to challenge him on. Whereas American media, just the way they interview people is absolutely awful, and you know, you might as well just be their PR people, because we all know corporate media, you know, isn't, you know, the job isn't to be investigative journalists or even to hold people accountable. It's just to promote people, make money, and not, you know, upset the status quo. But it's so funny how ridiculous a hard right-winger in this country makes a conservative look in America. And in my opinion, Ben Shapiro is just like alt-right person. The stuff he says, Obama is a fascist. You know, if you vote for Obama and you're Jewish, you're not a real Jew. All this stuff he said about Arabs, all this racist shit. You know, that shooter in Canada who loved Ben Shapiro. And it's so funny just Andrew Neil exposing him, because Andrew Neil, love him or hate him, and I don't like him, he's a real conservative, like someone who actually is more like a principled conservative. Ben Shapiro is just a total fraud. And I think it says so much about America that he's even relevant, and I think it shows how intellectually bankrupt America is that this guy is so prominent. So anyway, I hope you like my live reaction. Please check out the interview. I'll link it in the comments. Give me your verdict on it, and give me your verdict on Ben Shapiro vs Andrew Neil. I think it was really good, and it's always nice. You know, when I saw Ben Shapiro was going to be on BBC Politics Live, I was like, oh God, why the hell are they doing this? You know, is this what our taxpayer money funds? You know, getting this guy more influence and spreading him to our country. But I'm so glad it was such a nice smackdown, and it is so much sweeter that a conservative did the smackdown. And anyway, if you like this style of content, please subscribe to the channel, maybe like the video. If you want to follow me on social media, follow me at The Tabernacle. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.